Hello StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another weekly edition of MidRank Madness. This is a game between NJC and Parabol on Frozen Temple. This was sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com by one of my patrons that donated $10 a month. And at the $10 a month level, I will cast one of your games. Alright, so this is Platinum level, and let's get right on into it. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Zerg player. It is Parabol. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is NJC. I'm not going to tell you which one of these players sent me this replay because that will spoil things. Will spoil things. But again, go to patreon.com/FalconPaladin. I'll put a link in the top right here you can click. If you become a Patreon at the $10 a month level, I'll cast one of your games for sure. And probably more of that, to be honest. If you send me games that are great and you're a patron, I will give them great consideration and more than likely cast them. Even if you don't have $10 a month, you can also donate just $1, $2, $3. I mean, even $1 a month is greatly appreciated. Many of you are doing $1 a month, which I love so very much. As any amount of love you can give me really helps support these daily and twice daily StarCraft 2 casts of Legacy of the Void that I know you love so much. And anyway, enough of that. So it's a ZVZ here at the Platinum level. I don't think I've cast a ZVZ MidRank Madness in a really long time if I've ever done it. So this is good. This is good to have some of the Platinum stuff at ZVZ, see how this works out. And honestly, I think ZVZ at the lower levels might be more interesting most of the time than ZVZ versus the higher levels, because you don't necessarily have the control needed for Baneling to be super effective, so I think some of these players might be afraid to go there. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but sometimes we'll see some weird strategies. A player might feel strong enough to go Muta off of 2 base, which is always fun to see in ZVZ as well. But regardless, I'm going to stop guessing what will happen, and we'll just kind of focus on it. Both players are working on those spawning pools and expansions at exactly the same time. And there it is, spawning pool 1, spawning pool 2, both players getting those queens. I've said it before, and I'll say it always and forever, but these lower level players, they know what they're doing in the early builds. They do. This isn't Wings of Liberty. This isn't where people had no idea what they were doing in StarCraft 2. I know I had no idea what I was doing in StarCraft 2. But these guys have been playing for a while now. They might not be master. They might not be GM level. But they are definitely good enough to figure out an early build and stick to it. The problems come when you actually start to fight and get in battles. That is where you mess up on your macro, you mess up on your micro, and you win and you lose games. All right, what do we got here? Players both going for metabolic boost. Pneumatized Carapace coming out here for NJC. So I like that. I like having speed overlords just for the scouting aspect, see exactly what your opponent is doing, especially in a mirror matchup, is really very important. So let's see what if NJC can get some good information out of that. Parabol, meanwhile, just droning up. It's 28 to 26 harvesters. NJC has a bit of a lead here, and there's the Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest out here for a Parabol. And a Spinecrawler, defensive spine as well. I think he's doing this blind, though. Let's see. Does he know? Yeah, he has no idea what NJC is doing. So that's just a blind Spinecrawler. Afraid of what might come his way, knowing he's going Banelings and maybe his opponent is too, but no, it's a Roach Warren for NJC, also picking up a lair right now. So, interesting indeed. Metabolic boost just about to finish for both of these players. Queens for Parabol spreading some creep. There is a bit of a divide in the Zerg community over whether you want to spread creep in ZVZ, just because it does give you vision, but it also helps your opponent get to your base more quickly if you cover the whole map in creep, which can be hard to react to, especially at these lower levels. NJC going double Evolution Chamber right now. Beautiful play indeed. Injects, again, a little bit behind. Where are you going, Queen? Oh, trying to get these Lings. So a Ling Scout by Parabol, finally getting the information that he's so desperately needed for so long here. Some Lings for NJC, cleaning that out. Speed Overlords for NJC, getting a beautiful scout at the same time. So both these players knowing exactly what is coming from their opponent. That is gross. I don't think I've ever really noticed these like webbing around the Baneling Nest. Is that new? Ugh, that's disgusting. Zerg is gross, you guys. I mean a really gross race. Ground Carapace level 1 on the way for NJC. Actually lost an Overlord and a supply block. A third base coming up for Parabol, but look at this Overlord placement by NJC. Beautiful. A beautiful Overlord placement, seeing exactly the timing on that third. Parabol having a hard time spending his money, but he's up 42 to 32 harvesters. So, maybe that offsets it. 3 more spine crawlers coming up. This is a lot of spines. We're 2 spines here in the main base. Wow, and another one at the natural. Parabol is super worried about Ling attacks. I guess spines are good against roaches too, so that's not much of a complaint. I don't know. +1/+1 on the way for NJC4. He has roaches with a +1 missile attack and ground carapace, and a third base by NJC also on the way. Also scouted by Parabol's Overlord. So Overlord placement on this map. You guys know where it is now. You know how to do this thing as a Zerg player, especially in ZVZ. Lair on the way for Parabol. Both these players being pretty passive, which is surprising. Usually ZVZ, there's a lot of early Ling pressure, at the very least quick roach attacks, but these guys are taking their time. NJC absolutely going for Roach Ravager. Got 3 roaches on the way and 4 Ravagers morphing in 2. And Parabol on the other hand, what does Parabol even have? It's got 10 Lings, and that is it. 10 Lings and 3 Queens. It's 46 to 40 Harvesters. Parabol's not as up on his worker count as he was, which means the NJC is in a great position. Lings by Parabol, his 10 Lings might come up and try to do some work over here at NJC's third. If there's a big drone transfer, they could do some damage. Although they're just kind of hanging out right now, which is a bit of an issue here. More spines up for Parabol. You know I'm a fan of static defense. You know that, right? I've made this argument time and time again that I like static defense, but this is a lot of static defense. Lings coming in here for Parabol, getting cleaned out by the Ravagers, the Queens, Roaches, Lings. I mean, NJC handled that with dignity. For sure. Corrosive Bile is taking out the Overlord. Yes! I think Corrosive Bile took out that Overlord. Don't see that every day. But anyway, Parabol has a lot of Spine Crawlers right now. He's got 5. He's got 7. That could be 7 drones. He could be up 7 workers on NJC right now, but instead he's tied 49 to 49. NJC has no static defense at all, which again I'm not a huge fan of. Macro Hatch coming up for NJC inside his main base. Creep continuing to spread for Parabol, and Parabol actually has a 4th base coming out too, so NJC might need to make an attack right now. Getting a Hydralisk Den 2, getting Glial Reconstitution +2, Ground Carapace, and a Spire by Parabol. So going Muta. Here is Parabol. Alright, Muta can be really good against Roach Ravager because they can't really shoot up unless you count Corrosive Bile, which I don't because it's too slow to hit Mutas. I don't think I've ever seen Mutas die to Corrosive Bile. Maybe that's happened, but I can't recall it. Centrifugal Hooks on the way for Parabol. His Banelings get some more speed. And if there's a lot of Hydra, as Ravagers by NJC take out that Overlord, if there's a lot of Hydras, Banelings can be very good. Very good against them just because they have so few hit points and they do extra damage versus light. And Hydras kind of fit those 2 criteria very, very well. 8 Mutas on the way for Parabol. But he's down 59 to 53 Harvesters. NJC just absolutely macroing hard. He's a little bit oversaturated on his third base, and he's starting to get it mined out on his main. So I think he should expand or attack right now. Or do both. Why not both? Porque no los dos? Is that what that is? It's probably wrong. My Spanish is not great, but I try. Parabol scouting out potential 4th base here by NJC, and I don't really see one coming anytime soon, unless... There it is! Now this is up here, I was going to say, at the top side of the map. NJC finally taking his 4th. Parabol's 4th is finished. He's got his Mutas, but he's just hanging out with them. No. Parabol. Mutas are for attacking. Mutas are for harassment. Mutas are for taking out drones, killing Queens, doing wonderful things like that. They are not for sitting by your 4th base and hovering, flapping your wings uselessly in the air. Go find some Overlords. There are Overlords everywhere. Oh, there's one. Found one. No. Parabol, no. Where? Okay. 16 Mutas in the air. Not interested in killing Overlords. Maybe we're going to try to take out this base. This 4th by NJC. You know what? He might be able... No, he's going for the attack. Alright, so Ling Muta here. A lot of Queens on the ground. A lot of Queens by NJC. He's got 6 of them. But that's a lot of Mutas too. The Transfuse is trying to keep the Queens alive. Doing a pretty good job of it. Look at this Transfuse action by NJC. Beautiful. All the Ravagers are dead though. No Transfuses spared for them. Ling's on top of the Queens. No, energy levels low. Queens are starting to die left and right. How many Queens are left here? The Mutas, got to take those guys out. You have to get rid of the Queens before you go after the drones. A Hydra pops in here too. A lot of Mutas are dying, but no, still alive. A handful of them. 4 of them. 5 of them here. Trying to kill a bunch of these drones. Some Lings showing up for Parabol too. NJC's 3rd base is in trouble. In a lot of trouble right now. Going after this 4th base too. Nothing defending this either. NJC is going to lose that 4th. A ton of Lings coming in. This Ling Muta strategy working pretty well. NJC defended it with the Queen stuff, but maybe in the end it wasn't enough. Banelings morphing in for Parabol. He needs them now. The Hydras have shown up. Mutas for NJC have shown up as well. These Mutas in the middle of a firestorm. All of them die. for Parabol. The Banelings trying to morph in. A couple of them do get some good hits off, but not enough to really take out NGC's army. Lings, the counterattack by NGC here at the 4th base. Single queen, gone. Spore Crawler going to die too. Drones getting destroyed. NGC with the counterattack of the Mutas. Spore Crawler doing extra damage versus them, but then when there are this many, one Spore is definitely not enough. 4th base by Parabol in a ton of trouble right now. It is 126 to 109 total supply. 15 Mutas in production for Parabol. Can he hold this attack by NJC? We will have to wait and see about that. Hydra's here. Lings here. +2 Carapace on everybody. +2 missile attack on those ranged units. And Mutas have no upgrades at all. Banelings, run, says NJC. Run. Banelings by Parabol. Oh, big time hits. Big time hits here. All of the Hydras are gone, but the Mutas obviously unaffected. However, they're retreating nonetheless. Huge Baneling hits there. That really saved it for Parabol. He was in trouble. He was in trouble, but now it's 114 to 104 total supply. Parabol has that lead, 64 to 60. Harvesters count. NJC's trying to reestablish his 4th base, trying to establish his 5th base at the same time, just at the south a little bit here. And NJC being active with his Mutas, taking out Overlords. That's great. Not enough to supply block Parabol yet. Not yet, but if he keeps hunting, it will be. Parabol's 4th base. I mean, I guess it's his 4th base, because this actual 4th base is gone. Anyway, the bottom side, it is getting saturated with 19 Harvesters. I like taking Extractors before anything else on my expansions as Zerg, just because you're so gas-starved most of the time as Zerg. So Parabol, again, not spending his money particularly well. Got about 1,000 minerals, about 700 gas. Throwing up some Spore Crawler defenses. I like that, except this Spore Crawler placement is going to block his ability to harvest from that Gusting Geyser very well. Lings for Parabol trying to run on in and scout, possibly. Kill some stuff. They seem a little bit adrift on this creep, and NJC is going to clean that out, no problem. The Mutas for Parabol flying around with an Overseer might be good to kill some of these creep tumors, but I don't know. Both players benefiting fairly equally from that. Lings from NJC on this 4th base. Get out of there. And they're not even trying to get some drones. Now they're going after the drones. Baneling comes in. Mutas come in. Queen pops out. Loses the Queen here. Does Parabol. But the Mutas clean out that Ling attack very easily indeed. Throwing up some spines as Parabol. Recognizing the threat of these Ling counters. That's the thing, right? If you're the Zerg player, Day9 has talked about this before. But if you're going and you find a base that's pretty much undefended, you can try to take out the hatch, which is a bigger win. But if you just do 50% damage, 75% damage to the hatch, and then you lose your army, it's like you did nothing. It doesn't hurt your opponent at all. Go for drones. Go for juicy drones and workers, SCVs and probes. That has got to be your priority when you show up to a base like this. It's fairly undefended. Parabol oversaturating his 4th base. Probably needs to take a 5th. There it is, taking his 5th base at the origin of the 4th base. That was lost. 10 drones on the way at a time for NJC. He's got 83 drones. He's going to have 93 here in a minute. Is he replanting a spire, or is he making another one? He's got one. Where? He's making another spire over here at his 5th, or his 4th, whatever it is at the top. That's weird. Super weird. We haven't seen Mass Muta versus Mass Muta in a long time. Not since Heart of the Swarm, I don't think. All right, so Parabol flying in with a ton of Mutas. He's got 35, 22 for NJC. This is not looking good for NJC. This completely obliterating this 5th base Mutas. Parabol, you have the lead. Get in there. You have... Oh, he outnumbered NJC so bad. So bad. He's got +1/+1 even. He has an upgrade advantage. He's got a 2-to-1 Muta advantage. Parabol, get in there and kill stuff. Morphing in some Banelings as well. It does say morphing down there as 5th base is going to pop up, which is great news for him. But it's 64 to 86 total Harvesters. NJC has a nice lead right now. Really nice lead. 2nd Spire completing for NJC, though I feel like he knows what he's doing. Anyway, these spines for Parabol at his natural he's never used. He's never used them. He's getting an Infestation Pit. That feels really good. Fungal combined with like Chain Fungal is really good against Mutas. Overseer here, the Overseer here with the army killing creep tumors. A Spore Crawler up for NJC. 2 spores at that 5th. Small attack by Parabol gets taken care of by NJC at his top base. Another Ling attack by Parabol. +2 attack and +1 armor on these Lings. Pretty good stuff. And NJC in a lot of trouble. Queen defending dies. And again, going after the hatch. Is it going to be enough? I think it's going to be enough. Definitely gets the hatch there. Going after the spire next of all. I don't know about that. choice, but he gets the Spire too. Lings with +2 attack do a lot of damage. Pro tip of the day. Spore Crawler pops up for NJC. Lings killing a bunch of these queens. NJC with a lot of queens right now. Another major attack. Muta versus Muta here. Parabol does manage to chase away NJC. Muta count is 18-27. Parabol has that lead, but these queens by NJC, scary stuff, man. 11 damage against air, a range of 8. Very, very well against Mutas. NJC lost his base. He's down a base to his opponent right now, Parabol, but he does have 89 workers. 89 workers getting +3 melee attack, getting ground carapace, getting adrenal glands for his Lings. These will be as effective Lings as you can get for NJC. Parabol going for +2 flyer attack and a hive and more spine crawlers. The other problem with static defense is they get less effective as the time goes on. They don't benefit from upgrades. Unless we're talking about Terran building armor, which we're not in this game. Oh, can the Lings get the hatch? No! Wait! Maybe! No, 1 Ling left. Can't get the hatch. It's down to 100 hit points, but it's not dead yet. Parabol flying in. He wants that hatch so bad. I think he's going to get it. If he focuses it, bam! Gets the hatch. No cancel by NJC. Muta versus Muta action. Now Queen stabbing from the distance as well. And Parabol retreats. He's being a little bit overcautious, I think, with his Mutas, but he hasn't lost him yet. And it's 34-14 Mutas right now. If it weren't for these queens, I'd feel like Parabol has this game in the bag. But I don't think he actually does. Parabol not really upgrading his queens at all, chasing this Overlord away. Should eventually be able to kill it. Run, NJC's Overlord, run, and it does. Parabol comes back home, possibly to inject. And no, not actually going to inject at all. Parabol taking a 6 base in the bottom left. Nick doing the same thing at this bottom left there, next door neighbors. But they don't know it. Lings by Parabol. Again, trying to take out a hatch. Bad idea, Parabol. Go for drones, man. Man, NJC's at 91 Harvesters to 65 for Parabol. Both players have lost about 14 drones, about 15 there. Ling attack by NJC here at the 4th base by Parabol at the bottom side. Lings here. Mutas here. Spore Crawler getting some big-time shots off on those Mutas, though. That bonus damage to Biological really coming into play right now. More Spore Crawlers, and Parabol is going to clean this out, I think. The Muta's in a ton of trouble. So many Spores. Corruptor's here, too, but Parabol wins that battle handily. Loses the hatch, though. The Lings were able to take it down. Again, they have +2 attack. They do have Adrenal Glands. That's finished. Ultra's on the way for NJC. And I don't know. I mean, how do Mutas do against Ultras, I guess is the question. We haven't really seen that in Legacy of the Void, have we? I don't think we have. So it's 91-45 Harvesters. But again, having a huge drone count isn't necessarily beneficial. Why aren't you attack moving, Parabol? Lings for NJC. Big time battle. Lings surrounding this Ultra. Muta's on top of it too. The Ultra dies pretty quickly, actually, it turns out. Muta's getting chased away by the Spore Crawler count here at that 4th base by NJC. An attack up here by Lings at Parabol's 5th base. Another attack of Lings here at Parabol's 3rd base. Spine Crawlers finally coming into play. Queen's defending as well. Muta's on top of NJC's Lings trying to join the battle here at the 3rd base. But again, Spines okay good, I guess, but actually not as good as you would expect. +3 attack is finished. So again, these Lings are little DPS machines. NJC has taken the extractors at Parabol's 6th base in the bottom left. I don't know that he knows there's a hatchery here. Yeah, this drone wants to make a hatchery, but can't. It's trying to kill it with its little stabby teeth here. Lings coming in for NJC, just flooding in. Has killed. Nope, hasn't killed the 3rd hatch. There it is. I'm blind. Has not killed the 3rd hatch for Parabol, but down to 22 Harvesters is Parabol. 22. That's not good. That's not good at all. Again, I was going to say NJC has a huge drone count, but sometimes all that does is make your army value a lot lower than it could be, especially in a ZVZ. Corruptor's in the air for NJC, but they just keep dying. Muta count is way too high for a handful of Corruptors to deal with this. I mean, there's a lot of Corruptors here. Some Queens here, too, doing damage from a distance. It's enough to make Parabol. Does he want to attack into these Queens? I think he does. He's doing it fairly well, too. Transfuse is trying to keep him alive, but it's not enough. It is not enough. There are so many Mutas in the sky. 25 of them. However, Lings from NJC show up at Parabol's 6th base. Not that Parabol has the Ling count or the drone count to actually sustain this many bases. He doesn't. He definitely does not. Lings for NJC just flying all over the place. That 5th base or 6th base is gone. Defensive Lings by Parabol intercept this group. Clean them out. +3 attack has finished for the Zerglings for Parabol. And weapon speed 0.35. Does he have a drill glands? I don't know. 5th base by Parabol is gone as well. NJC just using his Ling attacks to take out hatcheries, take out workers. left and right. And he's doing a great job of it. So it's now 121 to 83 total supply. The only real concern that NJC has here are these mutas. And he keeps making Corruptors, which I'm not sure is the correct choice, but it's not bad. I mean, I guess it's not bad. It was straight up Muta versus Corruptor fight here. Who's going to win this battle? Mutas seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. +2 attack has completed. Corruptors have +2 attack as well. Actually, even upgrades. +2, +1 at this point. Mutas taking out Corruptors. How many Corruptors have died? 25 Corruptors have died in this game. NGC is trying to make this thing work, but he just can't get enough of a big body of Corruptors to really make a difference. They just keep getting picked off in groups of 2, 3. I think there may be 7 in that last one. Ling versus Ling action here around Parabol's base. But once again, defended pretty well here. Just Parabol, I just don't know if he can do this, is the problem. It is 21 to 78 total harvesters. NJC is having a hard time spending his money, but again, it's platinum to be expected. Parabol now flying up to this north base. These guys are crazy. 151 APM for Parabol. 124 average for NJC. This is pretty good APM. I mean, again, ZVZ is crazy harassy. NJC loses his 4th base here on the top side of the map for the 2nd time in the game. Muta's trying to do what they can, taking out spores. Mass spore happening right now for NJC. Queens as well, recognizing that those things do well against Mutas. The Mutas, for our friend Parabol, a lot of them are injured, but that tissue regeneration helps them get back at the full health very quickly, down to 15 Mutas. Parabol has lost 59 Mutas so far. NJC is insisting he's going to win this game with Lings. Ling showing up at the 3rd base once again. I think this time it is definitely going to fall for the first time in the game. Long distance mining for NJC from that dead 4th base, but he's got a 7th base. And the bottom left, you could probably saturate instead. NJC's Lings decide to retreat after killing that 3rd. If they kill this 4th, I think Parabol's dead. I'm pretty sure Parabol's dead if that happens. 4th base being replanted for NJC. And it's 135 to 75 total supply. Hatches everywhere for NJC. An 8th base in the top right. Parabol trying to take another base here. 2 Lings by NJC getting taken down by Banelings. Woo! Big time dead Baneling count by NGs. 327 Lings killed by Parabol. 322 killed by NJC. It's just, it's Zergling massacre in this game so far. So NJC again is up 130 to, what is it? 130 to 74 total supply. Harvesting gas is NJC. I'm not sure that he needs that. He seems to be a little bit more mineral starved than gas starved. But Baneling's coming in for Parabol. He still has this 1 mining base. If he can get another one, he might be able to claw his way back into this game. I'm just not exactly super confident about that happening. NJC is continuing with the Corruptor route. He's got 15 of them. 15 Corruptors and 9 Queens. And 16 Zerglings. Actually, make that one. Make that one Zergling, as Banelings rolled in and crushed all of them. So NJC, again, has the worker count, has the base count, but his army's not exactly impressive right now. I mean, Parabol doesn't have much either. He's got 15 Mutas and 4 Queens. Not super good. Muta Queen here by Parabol coming in. It's just that's a lot of Corruptor. The Queen's trying to kill the Corruptors. I'm not sure they do enough DPS to really kill them quickly. And considering the Corruptors just fly away, that, yep, not going to happen. Not going to happen. More Banelings in for Parabol. He's not really replacing his drones. He's down to 28. There are no workers in production right now. NJC continuing Flyer Carapace. Upgrades. What has Parabol got? Mutas, go for it, man. Get in there. Kill some stuff. Kill some things. Trying to take a base that's already been taken. Drone gets killed by the Queen. An attack up here of Ling. Ling versus Ling action. And woo! Wow. Parabol won that handily and ends up retreating. Got his Baneling. Got his Mutas coming right on in. Muta versus Corruptor. That's not going to happen. Way too many Corruptors. But the Lings on top of this 4th base once again by NGC. He's going to lose this hatch for this like 3rd time in this game. No! No defensive Lings show up. Queens show up as well. And yes, they do manage to save the day. 165 to 73 total supply. NJC moving out with the Lings, with the Corruptors. Bringing the Queens? No, not bringing the Queens. Baneling hits on NJC's Lings. Just destructive. Corruptors chasing those Mutas away. And when they don't, Corruptors are dying fast. Corruptors dying super duper fast. This might be the last stand for Parabol, and it is. Parabol leaves the game. NJC is victorious. And that is it for our ZVZ MidRank Madness Patreon special. Woo! I did not think that game would be 24 minutes long. That was a good one. That was one of the better ZVZs we've seen. I mean, constant action. Constant Ling run-bys. Again, the APM for these guys, 173 for Parabol, 132 for NJC. Just crazy times for a 24-minute game. 409 Lings died for NJC, 348 for Parabol, 76 Mutas lost their lives for Parabol, 35 for NJC. 2 Ultras, NJC abandoned that plan pretty quickly. 26 Queens lost their lives for NJC. 5 Hatches died for Parabol, 4 for NJC. A lot of dead bases, a lot of back and forth action here. 66 Drones lost their lives for Parabol. And I think that's really what it came down to, which is Parabol lost a ton of workers in a big attack by NJC. NJC couldn't finish him off, but definitely crippled Parabol. Parabol never really replaced those workers, never replaced the bases, and NJC finally made the Corruptor strategy work. That was it for the Mutas for Parabol, and that's really all he had. So, good. Good one. Very good indeed. So again, you want me to cast one of your games, go ahead and go to patreon.com/FalconPaladin. Sign up for a $10 a month donation. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Send me your replay to falconpaladin@gmail.com. Tell me who you are. I'll check you against the list, and I'll probably cast it. All right, so that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another weekly bonus edition of MidRank Madness. And if you want to send me a replay for the actual MidRank Madness, you can do so again to falconpaladin@gmail.com. Send me your gold, diamond, or platinum level replay with the subject of MidRank Madness. I'll send those to my screeners. They'll determine which ones are the best, and I will cast those. Woo! All right, so you can also find me on Twitter and Facebook and Patreon, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. Thanks again to my patrons, 19 Day, Nicholas Cheek, Sean Govin, Nick Riley, Josh Cornelius, Jin, Pedro Batsardas, Robert Farmer, KN, Keith Garlow, Matt Meermans, Hekon Marcus, Christopher, Alex Coffey, Ben Raboin, Alexandros Konardis, Michael Wellen, Plaid, Complex, Clayton Knight, Ian Westbrook, Michael McIntosh, Jan Kodera, Bo Brissett, Kale Anderson, Pushpak Eledu, Trevor Smith, Men Haidayan, Rajiv Bhatt, Bakberti, and Sikopatara. All right. Thank you so much again. Link at the top right, and goodbye.